Welcome to Chanel. The latest Ukrainian artillery fire mangled the platoon of Russian soldiers advancing on this besieged city. Guided by a live video feed from an aerial drone, the guns cut down the first group of 20, a reconnaissance officer recalled. Then a further group of 20 were knocked out, followed by 10 more. Later that same day in January, another 20 Russian soldiers trudged forward along the same path and managed to dig in at a new position in a wood a little closer to Bakhmut. "I just don't know when they'll run out," said the 33-year-old officer, Major Yuri Harkavy, who goes by the nom de guerre Skala, or the Rock. Everywhere is already strewn with corpses. After months of retreats, Russia is gaining some ground in the east of Ukraine with a familiar tactic from the Soviet Red Army in World War II, the deployment of waves of humans with scant regard for their lives. Russian forces have advanced house by house in Bakhmut and in towns and villages to its north and south, threatening Ukraine's control of a city that Moscow has made its main immediate target. With only a thin supply line remaining, Ukraine is also taking heavy losses. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said the aim of the invasion, seizing control of Ukraine, remains unchanged. He has sought to mobilize the country's society and industry for a long war against what he describes as the West's proxy government in Kyiv. Russia has a population more than triple the size of Ukraine's. Despite Western estimates that nearly 200,000 Russian troops have been killed or wounded in the war, there have been only small ripples of public discontent inside the country. Even if Ukrainian troops are forced to withdraw from Bakhmut, the question remains whether Russia can successfully use such a slow and costly tactic more broadly. Ukrainian commanders say they are grinding down Russian forces, making them vulnerable to counterattacks. Ukraine has constructed strong defensive lines to the west of Bakhmut, and the plodding Russian advance shows no sign of scoring the kind of rapid breakthrough that could cause a broader Ukrainian collapse. The bulk of Russian shock troops come from Wagner Group, a paramilitary unit that has recruited convicted criminals with pledges of clemency and payment in return for fixed-term service. Col General Mikhailo Koval, a senior Ukrainian commander on the Eastern Front, described the Russian tactic as a sign of weakness. He said Ukraine had used high-precision rockets to destroy Russian ammunition stores in the east. As a result, he said, Russia is instead using untrained, cannon fodder, to dislodge Ukrainian defenders through relentless assaults. "They want to terrorize us with them, but Wagner are just as vulnerable to bullets," he said in an interview. "The edge of the city is covered in their corpses." Ukraine had taken the initiative in the months after Russia's February 2022 invasion, repelling an assault on Kyiv, then reclaiming territory in Kharkiv region to the northeast and Kherson in the south. Russia hastily shored up its defensive lines with thousands of draftees and Wagner recruits. By December, Moscow had focused on Bakhmut as a target. Before the war, the city of some 80,000 was mostly known for its sparkling wine factory. Bakhmut has little strategic value, Ukrainian commanders said. It has since taken on added psychological significance after Ukraine's dogged defense over months and a December visit by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who called it Fortress Bakhmut. The Kremlin has made seizing the whole of the eastern Donbas territory where the city is located a central war aim. Ukrainian defenders in and around Bakhmut are a hodgepodge of units, including air assault forces, border guards and military reserves. Skala Battalion, Major Harkavy's volunteer assault and reconnaissance unit of more than 100 men, moved to Bakhmut after playing a key role defending Kharkiv region last summer. The Wall Street Journal has been following Skala's men for months. In Kharkiv, they worked in small mobile teams, launching drones to correct artillery fire to take out scores of Russian armored vehicles. In Bakhmut, by contrast, they found themselves under waves of infantry assaults.